Today we are going to do same chapter number 2, plant, fruits and seeds. Okay? In this class we will be learning few things, that is the seed, structure of seed, types of seed and types of germination. Okay? So first, what is a seed? Do you remember? It was told in the last class also. After fertilization, an ovule develops into a seed. So it is the ovule which is there in the ovary that becomes the seed, and the ovary becomes the fruit. There may be one or more seeds in a fruit. If you take the example of mango, you have got only one seed. Take the example of orange, you have got many seeds. So fruit might contain one seed or many seeds. The number and shapes of the seeds vary in different fruits. However, the basic structure is the same. All the seeds are same, but they may look different, they may vary in shape and sizes, but the basic structure of the seed remains the same. If you know about one seed, all the seeds are like that only, structure wise. So let us study the structure of a seed. Now look at this diagram. This brown covering, do you see here? This is called the seed coat. This is the hard covering which protects the seed. It has got a baby plant. This one, which we call embryo. Okay? Embryo is the baby plant. Till now, in primary section, you were told it is baby plant. Now, you know the term embryo. Okay? The embryo has got two parts, plumule and radicle. Okay? Plumule is the one which later on develops into the shoot system, and the radicle is the one which after germination it becomes the root and later on develops into the root system. And this fleshy portion is called cotyledon. Okay? Now let us see this. Seed contains a tiny plant known as embryo. I was talking about this portion. This is the embryo. It is also called the baby plant. Now here, a seed has an outer protective covering, and that is seed coat. This one is the outer protective covering, which is called the seed coat. Next one, the fleshy parts of a seed are called cotyledon. So this is called cotyledon. Okay? So there may be one cotyledon or two cotyledons. The cotyledons store food for the growing embryo inside the seed. So what it does, what is the function of cotyledon? It provides nourishment, the nutrients for this baby plant. Okay? Embryo has two main parts, as I told earlier, plumule and radicle. Plumule, the upper portion, radicle, the lower portion. On germinating under favorable conditions. So seed will not germinate unless and until it gets all the favorable conditions. So once it starts germinating, the radicle develops into the root and plumule develops into the shoot of the baby plant. And later on, they become the shoot system and the root system of the plant. Now types of seeds. There are two types of seeds according to the number of cotyledons. Just now I told you there may be one cotyledon or two cotyledons. Depending on that, there are two types of seeds. Here you can see this one is maize seed. Okay? And this is monocotyledon. Mono means one. Cotyledon is cotyledon. Okay? So one cotyledon is monocotyledon. And here you can see two are there, two cotyledons are there. So this is called dicotyledon. This is example is the bean seed. In short, dicotyledon seeds are called dicots and monocotyledon seeds are called monocots. Okay. Now here you see monocotyledonous seeds. These seeds contain only one cotyledon. Here you can see only one cotyledon is there, and that is why it is called monocotyledon. Examples are wheat, maize, rice, etc. On the other hand, you can see dicotyledonous seeds. These seeds contain two cotyledons, 1 and 2. And examples are mango, gram, and pea. You must have seen your mother soaks gram seeds to prepare curry. If you remove the seed coat, that is the outer portion, the brown one, then you can see that the seed can be divided into two equal, almost equal parts. And these two parts are called the cotyledons. So it has got two cotyledons, and that is why it is called dicotyledon seed. Now here you see, this is the diagram given in your book. Maize seed, that is the example of monocotyledon, and there the gram seed, and here you can see, just now I told you, it is divided into two. Once you remove this outer covering, the seed coat, it has got two parts. Outer one is testa and the inner one is tegmen. Okay, so these are the two cotyledons, and here you can see the radicle, the lower portion which turns into the root, and the upper portion of the embryo, it is plumule, which turns into the shoot system of the plant after germination. Now germination of seed. What is germination of seed? The process in which a seed begins to grow is called germination. Unless and until it gets the favorable conditions, it cannot germinate. It is in dormant stage, sleeping stage. It can be stored, but once it gets all the favorable condition, it starts germinating. When seed germinates, the seed coat splits. The outer covering, the protective covering, the seed coat, it splits. And then what happens? This is followed by the elongation of radicle. The radicle starts elongating and growing downwards. Radicle, which turns into root system, it grows downwards, okay, to form the root system. On the other hand, what happens here? The plumule, the upper portion, it comes out and forms the shoot system of the plant. So, when it starts germinating, the seed coat splits, radicle goes down and develops into a root system. At the same time, the plumule also comes out and develops into or forms the shoot system of the plant. The seedling grows further and ultimately forms a new plant. And here you can see in the diagram how it happens. Now here you can see the seed is there in the soil, it gets moisture, oxygen, everything, okay, proper temperature, and then it starts germinating. You can see the cotyledons are coming up, and the root system, it is there inside the radicle. The plumule goes up and ultimately it turns into a seedling. Okay, later on it becomes plant, and plants bear flowers and fruits, and from there again we get the seeds, and this life cycle goes on. Now we'll be learning about types of germination. Basically there are two types of germination. The first one is epigeal germination and the second one is hypogeal germination. Epigeal and hypogeal. Now look at the diagrams. In the diagram, you can very well see the difference between epigeal germination and hypogeal germination. And to find out which which one is epigeal and which one is hypogeal, I'll give you a clue. And that is, epi means above and hypo means below. So just keep this thing in mind. Epi means above and hypo means below. This is the cotyledon. This is the cotyledon. Now, cotyledon goes up. It is pushed upwards. So, in epigeal germination, you will find the cotyledons coming out of the soil, above the soil. And in hypogeal, which is below, you can see the cotyledons are there below the soil. It doesn't come up. So, that is the basic difference. You can find out which one is epigeal and which one is hypogeal. Okay? And this is the portion which we call epicotyle, okay, above the embryonic axis, and below this you have got hypocotyle, okay. So below the embryonic axis and between embryonic axis and radicle is called hypocotyle, and embryonic axis between embryonic axis and plumule it is called epicotyle. Epi is above, hypo is below. Now I will show you how it happens that the cotyledons are pushed above in epigeal germination. So one by one we will be studying about these two types of germination. The first one is epigeal germination. Now look at this. This is the seed, and you can see the seed coat is coming out of it, it's splitting. And here the radicle starts growing downwards. So what happens is, these cotyledon is pushed above the ground, above the soil, okay, and you can see it is growing above and the radicle is growing down. This is cotyledon. You can see two cotyledons are there. That means it happens in dicotyledonous seeds. So these are the first leaves, okay, and later on it falls, and here you have got the second leaves. So this is called epigeal germination. Now let us see what is it and how it happens. In this type of germination, the hypocotyle elongates. This is the hypocotyle. It elongates. Okay, it becomes bigger. And what happens because of that? Rapidly, and arcs upwards, pushing or pulling the cotyledons which move above the soil. Now you can see the cotyledons are moving above the soil. It is mainly seen in dicotyledonous seeds, and examples are bean, cotton, papaya, gourd, castor, onion. All these, they show epigeal type of germination. When the seed coat bursts, in the first one you can see the seed. Here the seed coat is bursting. The radicle comes out. Radicle which turns into the root system. So this comes out and starts growing downwards. So it is growing downwards because later on it will be becoming the root system. The cotyledons move out of the soil. Now here you can find the cotyledons moving above the soil and form the seed leaves. So these are called the seed leaves. After some time, this seed leaves falls off. The plumule later develop into green leaves, and we call it, these are the green leaves, and the real leaves we call it second leaves. The first ones are these cotyledons. Okay, you must have seen this in the fields, in the gardens. Okay, so this was all about epigeal germination. Remember, epi means above, so cotyledons are above the ground, above the soil. Now next one is hypogeal germination. Hypo, remember below, so cotyledons remains below the surface. Okay, so example here is maize. You can see the seed, radicle and plumule. Radicle grows downwards, plumule goes upwards. Okay, and here you can find the leaves. Okay, so this is hypogeal germination. Here the cotyledons remain in the soil. It doesn't come out like the other one, the previous one. In this type of germination, the epicotyle is the part of the embryonal axis between plumule and cotyledon. Okay, so between plumule and cotyledon, you have got the epicotyle. It elongates, and the cotyledons remain below the soil, undisturbed. They are below the soil. It is mainly seen in monocots like pea, mango, maize, rice, gram and groundnut. All these they show hypogeal germination where the cotyledons remain in the soil. Since cotyledons remain below the soil, what they do? They provide food for the germinating plant or germinating seed. They shrivel off. After some time you can see it is reducing in size. It gets dried and becomes very small. Okay, shrinks. The plumule develops into true leaves. Now you can see the leaves are coming out and it is turning into the shoot system. So these were two types of germination, epigeal and hypogeal. With this, we have finished this topic, the seed, structure of seed and types of germination, epigeal and hypogeal. So have a great day ahead and study well.